My partner and I went to the vegan march in Sydney at the ICC building, did some interviews and some footage. Please enjoy. Hello guys, so we're at the ICC Centre and I am with Maddie. So why are you here today?
I'm here to show support to the vegan community and get the word out there and help with animal liberation.
So what do you know what this event is?
Basically just a march from one side of the city to the other to just show people we're here, their voices here to be heard, and we get.
So, are you vegan?
Yes.
How long have you been vegan for?
Roughly 8 months now.
Why did you turn vegan?
I've always been sensitive to animals, but then I kept seeing all these videos, and I was just no, that's
all right.
That's enough.
Thank you. Hi, what is your name?
Chloe.
And why are you here today?
Just here with Help Anonymous for the Voiceless, just to give the animals a voice really, be a voice to trying to show the public and people what's going on when they buy animal products, and just try and get some awareness going.
And do you know what this event is?
Yep, so we're going to be marching a big group of us for the animals.
And are you vegan?
I am, yes.
How long have you been vegan?
I've been vegan since November 2015, so coming up to 2 years.
And what made you turn vegan?
I watched a documentary called Cowspiracy, and that just triggered it for me. I think I had a few seeds planted before then, but that was the tipping point, and the day after that I went vegan.
Okay, thank you.
And we've decided that we're not just going to speak in one area. We're going to have some speakers here, and then the marshals are going to take us all the way around to SeaWorld, a very apt place for us to be speaking out for animals, because we have representatives and speakers from Sydney Fish Save here today. And then we'll have more speakers there, and then we're going to go through the Parliament House. It'll take about 2 to 3 hours, and each of us will have an opportunity to walk past the public, to perhaps engage with them, to share with them. But I want us to know that this is happening all over the world today. So, in a moment I'm just going to introduce our wonderful entertainer, but I'd like to say a few words to start, because on a day when we have an alleged leadership change, I'm really not seeing a lot of leadership at all. All we're seeing is the growth of a plutocracy, which is a country that is run by corporations for corporations. And the very thing that fuels that process is the greed and the disruption and the cruelty towards the most vulnerable members of our society, including animals, which is what we're speaking out about today. The leaders I see are represented in places like this. I know a lot of you here, and I know a lot of you are putting your own liberty at risk. 13 people represented here today will be facing court charges for exposing the most heinous crimes in a chicken factory. And I know many people have gone undercover and have actually resulted in films like Dominion, which is now going around the globe. Yep. Now this year we've seen a massive increase in vigils and disruptions and people stepping up to the challenge, and I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Earlier on in the year we had one of the biggest exposés in the live export trade. Nearly 20 exposés we've had in Animals Australia. And this time a young man, a 25-year-old, was on a ship to the Middle East for manual exports. And he saw the most heinous cruelty, animals being cooked alive because of the searing heat in those conditions. Animals standing in their own excrement, animals giving birth to babies, being trampled on by others, starved and dehydrated. Many of them, we might even say, were lucky if they died on those ships, because then when they get to the other end, we know what happens. That extraordinary young man took footage over 5 voyages, and he knew in submitting that footage to Animals Australia that he would never be able to return to his country, or else he would go to prison. That young man made that decision, and Manual Exports this week has had its license cancelled. Take actions. There's a groundswell happening, and I also want you to know, on very good authority, that that young man is being very well looked after. The next thing we had was kangaroo. expose of the film of how our national icon, we're told by governments who license killings and cullings, that they're in plague proportions. Since the early settlers came here, 95 to 97% of kangaroos have been slaughtered in this country. They can almost be extinct within our lifetime. And then, of course, we've seen Dominion. 7 years of undercover footage that almost got lost in the first ag-gag legislation case in this country. However, that was thrown out of court. 43 activists turned up at that court in the middle of a cattle county and showed that actually there was presence behind that, and it was thrown out of court. And that film is now out there, now being launched all over the world, being shown in community centres, in sitting rooms, in lounges. Only this week I received emails from Bangkok in India, people talking about how they're showing Dominion and it's changing the hearts and minds of people. Now that just hasn't happened overnight. Ever since that has happened, and ever since the largest march in Australian history for animal rights, the Dominion Movement March in March earlier this year, we have seen a massive increase in vigils, in undercover work, in street activism, in the Cuban Truth, Anonymous for the Voiceless, growing all over the country, more disruptions, more truth walkers walking through cinemas and shopping centres, showing people what's going on, more people being arrested. This is the time in our history when we really have to step up to this. Now we're going to have some amazing speakers here today, people that haven't actually been in the movement very long. But I want us all to know that we are all standing on the shoulders of giants. People that have been in this movement for decades, who are imploring us to now take that mantle and every day take action. Learn to be exquisite communicators, to have the most difficult of conversations. Learn to disrupt our families and workplaces. Be prepared to be unpopular, because the people suffering here are in cages, as we know. The most vulnerable members of our society are suffering. We're the ones that have lifted the veil on the truth. And a mere 7.6 billion of us torture, kill, rape, abuse, and murder over 56 billion animals a year, but nothing other than Ebola certain species. So today is a speaking out, a celebration with people all over the world, in countries as far-flung as Israel. We knew last year had over 40,000 people. In London, I've seen a massive vigil begin today and a massive rally. They're beginning all over the world. Together we are rising up and we are reaching a tipping point. So let's celebrate, let's be inspired, let's be energized, and keep acting until every cage is empty, until every animal is free. Can we give a resounding welcome to Len Davis?
Let the truth be seen, all the lies that are told by the killing machine. Pull back the covers, let the truth come clean. Here's what we need: freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Let them see the truth somehow.
Let them see the truth somehow.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
When we sing for the lives that were lost in vain, and we sing for the souls lost in monetary gain, and we sing for the start of a brand new day. Here's what we say: freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Let them see the truth somehow.
Let them see the truth somehow.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Yeah. We march for you and we march for me. We march for changing history. No more pain and no more lies. No cruel and heartless enterprise. freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Let them see the truth somehow.
Let them see the truth somehow.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Sing it loud. Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Let them see the truth somehow.
Let them see the truth somehow.
Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Freedom, justice, freedom
Can
now.
I leave by yourselves? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Freedom, justice, freedom now. Freedom, justice, freedom now. Let them see the truth somehow. Freedom, justice, freedom now.
Nice.
Need to show what people are actually eating.
Animals do not want to die! Animals do not want to die! Animals do not want to die!
As many of you might know, within the last month, Sydney has formed a new Fish Save chapter, which will be joining forces with the worldwide Save movement. I, along with our 3 other team members, Joel, Emma, and Jason, are honoured to be organising here today for this event. Fish are the most eaten and least spoken for of all oppressed animals. Contrary to popular beliefs, fish actually don't have a short memory span and prove to be very receptive in ongoing exercises testing skills of image recognition. Another common myth is that fish do not feel pain. We all know that this has been proven to be not true. Fish have been shown to actually feel more pain than humans because their nervous system is far more sensitive. Marine animals are #1 on the worldwide list of top 10 animals killed for food each year. The numerical estimate for this amounts to around 2.7 trillion marine lives. This doesn't even account for incidences of unreported fishing, including 60% in West Africa and a shocking 92% in China. Bykill is another secondary problem that comes out of our incessant need to overfish. 4.4 million non-targeted marine animals are killed each year as bycatch, and 80 to 90% of this number are thrown back into the sea, dead. 3/4 of the world's fisheries are exploited or depleted. And it's been estimated that our oceans could be fishless as soon as 2048. We don't think much about it, but the ocean is responsible for giving the Earth its first breath of oxygen 2.7 billion years ago. The collapse of our oceans, as well as the ecosystems within it, will inevitably lead to the collapse of our planet. As Captain Paul Watson from Sea Shepherd puts it very simply, if the oceans die, we all die. The purpose of me speaking here today is to urge you all to be active. This year, I will have been a vegan for 3 years. I only started being an activist 10 months ago. I spent over 2 years being what many would call a picnic vegan. I baked and loved cooking. I attended picnics to meet others with the same interests. But never did I have the strength in me to attend any animal rights activism events and actually speak up for this cause. Last year, I was having one of the lowest years of my life. And just over 10 months ago, for the first time, I had actually planned my own suicide. I was tired of suffering. I had suffered at the hands of physical and psychological abuse for almost 20 years of my life, and then came straight out of it to run into what became a toxic and sexually violent relationship which lasted almost 3 years, just to escape what had come before it. I was truly at rock bottom. A few days earlier, I had made one of my first efforts to try participating in activism. Though I don't count it as the start of my journey into activism, it had a profound impact on me. I arrived at a cube of truth and offered to hold the television. It was the first time I had put myself in a position to watch how others reacted to how animals were being treated for food. It was also the first time that I forced myself to watch the graphic footage. At the time, in over 2 years of being a vegan, I had always purposely sheltered myself away from any of the more graphic documentations of animal exploitation. But when I finally was brave enough to watch it, something changed in me. There was a spark, a heat inside of me. The heat first came as anger. Anger that it had taken me this long to be able to see what really happens to these animals. When I experienced abuse in my past, one of the things that hurt me the most was that when my friends and my family told me that they cared for me, they loved me, and they wished nothing but the best for me. All these people knew what I was going through, but not a single person could offer me help when I really, truly needed it. After being able to let myself watch the footage, I suddenly realized that I too was one of those people. I cared for animals, I loved them, and I became vegan because I no longer wanted to contribute to what society does to selfishly exploit these innocent beings. But at the same time, I stayed quiet. I had a voice, but I wasn't using it to speak up for those with no voice. When we objectively look at animal rights activism and openly promoting a vegan lifestyle, how is it any different from taking a stand against racism, sexism, or homophobia? We live in a day and age where if we saw someone assert aggression and violence towards someone because of where they come from, what gender they are, or who they choose to love, most of us would speak out in defense of the person who is needlessly being harassed. Why has it become so stigmatized, even within a community who all love and want to help animals, to openly speak up about something that we all know is wrong? Not just to defend why they choose to live a certain lifestyle, but to speak up on behalf of a life, or more accurately, billions of lives, who never had a say in the way that they were treated. It is time for us to stop being so apologetic for doing what we know is right. When I was discharged from hospital, I finally made a connection. That my suffering, no matter how bad, no matter how long, how strong, could never ever be as bad as what over 1 million and billion animals experience on a daily, monthly and yearly basis in the hellholes that we have created for them, just so that we can have a laugh, a pretty lipstick, or a tasty meal. In the past 10 months since I began my life again as an activist, I have seen horrible things whilst bearing witness. But on 2 significant occasions, I've also had some of the most happy and memorable experiences of my life. Those 2 experiences were visiting Peanut's Funny Farm and Little Oak Sanctuary. These sanctuaries provide forever homes for a handful of extremely lucky animals who have had the opportunity to live a life free of violence and full of love. Saved from a life of violence and death, seeing animals at these sanctuaries, playing with them, touching them, and feeling them quiver with excitement rather than fear, truly gave me a light of hope in what seems like a dark journey to fight for animal liberation. It is never too late to start, and it is never ever too late to make a difference. I stand by the phrase that there is always more that we can do. And from what is going on around us, this could not be more true. In activism, no matter where you look, where you go, there will always be something there that you see that will crush you and crush your fighting spirit, no matter how many saves, direct actions, and demonstrations you do. It feels like nothing is ever enough. But we must remember that no matter how bad it feels for us to see and feel, that we are not in their position. And that is why we must keep fighting. We must stand up, no matter how many times we have felt defeated or fallen, because we are not the defeated ones. They are. These animals need our voice, because together our voices have the power to end their screams. The world is changing. Entertainment is changing. Food is changing. Restaurants are changing. Brands are changing. Industries are changing. It doesn't matter if today was your first activism experience. And if it is, I hope that encourages you to be brave and to get more involved. Attend a vigil. See your animal friends one last time before they are sent to slaughter. Share footage on social media. If you're not shy, grab a megaphone. Join one of the many direct action groups that are here in Sydney or wherever you are. Truth is global. Action is your freedom. Be active, fellow brothers and sisters, for the animals need us now more than ever. Together, what is done in the dark will be brought to the light. Thank you.
Are we ready? Yes! There's no excuse! Animal abuse! 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 It's not food! It's violence! It's not food! It's violence! It's not milk! It's violence! It's not beef! It's violence! It's not cheese! It's violence! It's not bacon! It's violence! It's not food! It's violence! It's not milk! It's violence! It's not beef! It's violence! It's not cheese! It's violence!
Kenny Davies.
So you're a natural meat eater, but have you ever thought about when you take your sons and daughter out? Why do you go to pick strawberries? But you never take them to the slaughterhouse, cause if it's walking in, it's never walking out, it's never talked about. Now take them blindfolds off, let's take a walk around, cause on the left is death, and on the right is life. It's your mind, your choice, your money, your voice, whether to exploit or not. It's best to take all of my advice for the people, the earth, and the ones that deserve the right to freedom.
There's no excuse for animal abuse.
We'll take to the streets and scream that meat is murder.
There's never an excuse for animal abuse.
Yeah. And I'll scream and I'll fight for the animals' rights like it's my life to the day I die. Yeah. So you're vegetarian and you don't eat animal flesh or animal death because you care for them. but you must not know anything about that dairy industry. It's a must-see, trust me, when you pay for your cheese and the milk and the tea.